Hi, I'm Doc Thompson. Join me for live and local compelling talk weekday afternoons 3 to 6 on Talk Radio 1270 WXYT.
Glenn Beck.
Doc Thompson in for Glenn Beck, 888-727-BECK. Listen, I am not somebody that is willing to cast a vote just because I don't like the other person. And I'm not willing this November to say I just don't like President Obama, so I'm going to vote for Mitt Romney. I want to know what he stands for. So I graciously tried to interview him on my local show in Detroit, and his people just kept avoiding me, even though they would send us press release after press release. They just wouldn't have him come on. And then I noticed that Mitt Romney doesn't do a lot of interviews, certainly not anywhere they're going to ask him tough questions. Well, I have tough questions for him if he wants my vote. And they refused to be interviewed. He refused to come on. So I'm left to interview him in absentia. I have to assume his answers. And if his people, if he doesn't want that, then he should do more interviews. So here is my interview with Mitt Romney in absentia. My first question is, Governor, how come you avoid doing interviews? Okay, so you don't want to answer tough questions. But if you're afraid to not have a controlled setting with softball questions because you don't want to look bad, wouldn't it be easier to just be honest and consistent? Then you wouldn't have to worry about any of that? You feel you are honest and consistent. It's just the media is making you look bad. Okay. Well, I can name a half a dozen major issues that you've either flip-flopped on or are not consistent with conservatives that you claim to be consistent with. Which ones? You want me to go through each one? Okay. Global warming. Is man causing global warming? Well, that's not what you said many times over the years. In fact, here's a collage of some of them.
It does appear to me, and I think to most people, that the world's getting warmer. And it also appears to me that we're contributing to that. I don't know how much we're contributing to that. I don't know what percentage it is. What percentage is caused by factors out of our control? What percentage is caused by our burning of greenhouse gas emitting fuels? I don't know. But I know that it's a good idea in this kind of setting to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions. And I would invest substantially more dollars in developing basic science that can help develop some of these technologies. And so that's the energy side. Then there's the efficiency side, which is less expensive, which is getting more fuel-efficient cars, more fuel-efficient homes and businesses. When I was governor, I proposed that everybody who bought a car that got over 35 miles to the gallon wouldn't have to pay sales tax on the car.
You've even supported a cap and tax plan, most of the time saying as long as the whole world was on board, which will never happen. But even if you could get the whole world on board with a cap and tax plan, it still creates a faux commodity, which has no real value other than that which has been established as a result of government. And even if you did set it up, it would still raise the prices. It would cause inflation on all products and services. By the way, I'm interviewing Governor Romney in absentia because he's been pretty absent from hard-hitting interviews. Governor, here's some of what you've said about abortion in the past.
Will I preserve and protect a woman's right to choose? I make an unequivocal answer, yes.
With regards to my views with regards to protecting a woman's right to choose, and I've been very clear on that. I will preserve and protect a woman's right to choose, and am devoted and dedicated to honoring my word in that regard.
Many, many years ago, I had a dear, close family relative that was very close to me who passed away from an illegal abortion. It is since that time that my mother and my family have been committed to the belief that we can believe as we want, but we will not force our beliefs on others on that matter. And you will not see me wavering on that or be a multiple choice. Thank you very much. I believe that abortion should be safe and legal in this country. I have since the time that my mom took that position when she ran in 1970 as a U.S. Senate candidate. I believe that since Roe v. Wade has been the law for 20 years, that we should sustain and support it. And I sustain and support that law and the right of a woman to make that choice.
So what is really your position on abortion? Is that your final answer? That's what you're going to stick by now. You also supported TARP. I swore I would not support any candidate who voted for or supported TARP.
Well, first of all, if the money's being paid back, which it is, we didn't waste a lot of money right then. That was an investment made to try and keep a collapse of our entire financial system from occurring. And I think that's the case. I think had President Bush and Secretary Paulson and Ben Bernanke not pushed for a TARP-type program, we were going to be in a free fall that would cause the collapse of not just a few banks in Wall Street, but banks all over the country, killing not only a few jobs, but all the jobs in this country. That's what we were facing, and the TARP program kept that from occurring. TARP got paid back, and it kept the financial system from collapsing.
So you feel it was well worth it?
Well, it was the right thing to do.
Why did you support TARP? How are you any different from George W. Bush, John McCain, or President Obama? You all supported TARP. At the time, George W. Bush said he was a free market guy. I like free markets. I don't want to do this. And then Obama and McCain couldn't get back to D.C. fast enough to support it. That needed to be done to stave off meltdown. Yeah, we heard that at the time. But there's really no way to tell if it would have happened now, is there? See, I thought you believed in free market principles. You do, but that was different. That one was different. Okay. Was the big government Obama stimulus plan different too? Because you supported that. You didn't. That's funny because I have you on tape supporting it.
Well, I frankly wish that the last Congress would have dealt with the stimulus issue and that the president could have signed that before leaving office. I think there is need for economic stimulus. Americans have lost about $11 trillion in net worth. That translates into about $400 billion a year less spending that they'll be doing, and that's net of additional government programs like Medicaid and unemployment insurance. And government can help make that up in a very difficult time, and that's one of the reasons why I think a stimulus program is needed. I'm
interviewing Governor Romney in absentia because he is simply absent from hard-hitting interviews. What about the Second Amendment, Governor? What's your stance on the Second Amendment? A proud supporter of the Second Amendment. See, you may be now, but you weren't always. Here's a couple of the clips.
Right to keep and bear arms is as a last resort to protect themselves from tyranny and government.
I don't know that that's highly relevant today, but certainly that's a legal reason for being able to keep a firearm, and I believe that people ought to be able to have a firearm to protect themselves. I believe in the Second Amendment.
In that case, why did you vote in favor of the Brady bill and the assault weapons ban?
I didn't actually vote.
I beg your pardon. Why did you support? Well, you have come out publicly saying that you supported the assault weapons ban and the Brady bill.
Yeah, and will you give the microphone back to the guy? How many more questions you got?
Yeah, my final question: if you don't understand the intent of the Constitution, how can you be trusted to defend it?
We do have tough gun laws in Massachusetts. I support them. I won't chip away at them. I believe they help protect us and provide for our safety.
No, I haven't gotten to illegals, affirmative action, women's issues, political correctness, none of that, Governor. I don't think it's wrong for a person to have a change of mind occasionally, to learn, to grow. But you have changed on a lot of stuff, damn near every important thing. So most of us want to know, if elected, what Mitt will we get? The Mitt you now claim to be, or the Mitt you've actually been in the past? It's most important to stop President Obama. That's the answer? That's all you have? You're better than Obama? That's it? Doesn't America deserve more than, I'm better than the other guy? Isn't that what we've always had? And look where we are. Governor? You've got to go. All right, well, thanks. I appreciate you joining me here on the Glenn Beck Program. Wow. I mean, do you feel like you really know Mitt? Do you trust the things he says now? No, I'm not attacking Mitt Romney. I'm just not sure I can trust him. How is he any different from George W. Bush or even President Obama? It's a little less extreme? Is that what you're going to vote for? Is that what you're running for? I know why he's avoiding the interviews. He doesn't want the tough questions. He doesn't want somebody like me actually challenging him on this stuff. So, therefore, I have to interview him in absentia, which essentially means I have to assume his answers. And based on how much he's flip-flop, I think I did a pretty good job assuming. Now, I do have the solution. If Mitt Romney wants to get elected, I have the one single solitary 30-second commercial he just has to run, and he will be elected. I will share it with you next, coming up on the Glenn Beck Program.
Glenn Beck. Mercury.